Hi guys, hope you're all okay. Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for joining me today for another video. So we're going to be looking at a radio today by a company that I've not actually spoke about on this channel for quite a while, and that is Baofeng, or Baofeng, or Baofeng, or Baofeng, or however you want to say it. And we're going to be looking at the DM-1701. Now this is a dual band DMR radio from Baofeng. And for those of you who have been watching this channel for a while, or been watching what goes on in the budget radio market for a while, you may remember the Baofeng digital radio that first came out, which was the DM-5R. And it was a catastrophe, and I'm pleased to say that Baofeng have redeemed themselves since then. They released the Radio Oddity version of the DMR radio, and that's a cracking little handset for a really good price. And we've also got the DM-1701. I've had a quick play with this radio, which I'm going to show you in this video today, and it's really good. It's just as good as many other Chinese alternatives out there. So what does this radio have to offer? So it's digital and analog, and it's a dual bander, which is nice to start with. Sort of on the VHF side of things, I don't know of any DMR repeaters on VHF, especially not around here, but UHF is quite busy for DMR repeaters, but we do hear UHF and VHF simplex around here, so it's handy to have a dual bander. And of course the radio is analog as well, which means that it's obviously can be used on 2 meters FM. Its frequency coverage is 136 to 174 MHz on VHF and 400 to 470 MHz on UHF. So again, compatible with 2 meters and 70 centimeter amateur bands. The output power is 1 watt on low, 2 watt on medium, and 5 watts on high. So again, about standard and about average with what a lot of other companies are doing. On the DMR side of things, it has 250 zones, each which allow 64 channels. It has a scan list of 250, it has 3,000 programmable channels, 10,000 digital talk groups, and 120,000 contacts. And for those in America, this does have FCC Part 90 certification, and you can see the ID number on the screen there. If we just have a quick look at the radio itself, you can see it's got a 1.7 inch colour TFT display. There's 5 customizable keypads which make it easier to access certain features, and as I say, you can program these in the programming software. We've also got a PTT on the side there. On the other side, we've got the speaker mic port behind a rubber cap there, and that is a 2-pin K-plug port, so it's actually compatible with any other Baofeng style programming cable, headset, fist microphone, and any by Kenwood. A lot of the Chinese radios that are coming out on the market now use this type of connector as well, so it's quite easy to interchange different accessories. We've got 2 knobs on the top. One of them is a rotary encoder to select through different channels, and the other one is your volume and on and off knob. And you'll be pleased to see we've got a Baofeng for once without the obligatory flashlight, which is great as well. Just some other basic features on this. It has scan on both digital and analog. You can program this from the front face, which is ideal, so you don't have to rely on CPS software. It has DTMF tones, it has a VFO, it's got SMS and emergency alarm function, CTCSS and DCS, colour codes and DMR encryption, but we will look at the menus in a few minutes and look at some of the other features and settings in this radio. Okay, so the software and firmware on this radio are upgradable. So the CPS software is upgradable and the firmware is upgradable, and this is free for life on the Radio Odyssey website, which I'll leave a link to in the description. It comes with a free programming cable, software, and a PTT earpiece, so you can program it via CPS software on your PC. Now this is supported at the moment by Windows 7, 8 and 10 only. Mac and Linux aren't supported. And you can import and export data out of your code plugs into CSV format, which makes it easier to read and write code plugs, and also to actually make new code plugs and use code plugs that you have in different radios by other manufacturers. You can actually copy the data in there, which actually made it really easy to program this radio. There is also a Facebook group and a website for sharing tips for using this radio. So in the package you get one Baofeng DM-1701 radio, as you can see there. You get a 2200 mAh lithium ion battery, a belt clip, you get the dual band antenna, a desktop charger, a user manual, a PTT earpiece, a wrist strap, and a USB programming cable. Okay, so if we look in the menus themselves, if we click the menu button, you've got contacts there, so you can look through your different contacts that you've got programmed in, so you can put people's call signs in and contacts for your different call talk groups. You can enter a contact manually, and you can manually dial a contact from here as well. We've got scan settings, so you can go through your scan lists. We've got zone, so you can select from your zone list. So what you can see here, I've got various zones for different channels, and you can obviously create a new zone from the radio itself. We've got messages, so you've got an inbox there. You can write messages, you can program quick messages in, and you can send and receive messages over DMR, which is quite handy. We've got a call list here which shows outgoing and ingoing calls. We've got utilities, so in here we've got radio settings such as the talk around, tones and alert, power, backlight, squelch, intro screen, keypad lock, language, LED indicator, Vox, which is voice activated transmission, password lock, clock, mode, so you can select between channel mode and memory mode, voice announcements, private call match, which is basically like promiscuous mode and group call match. We've got radio info, which you can look at your DMR number there and change it, and we've got firmware versions there, so you know which version of firmware you're using. And then you can program the radio. So as I said, you can program your receive, transmit frequencies, your channel name, your timeout timer, CTCSS and DCS, color code, time slot, Vox, transmit contact, group list. Again, I could go on, but these are all for programming the radio manually in both digital and analog mode. So that is basically the menus. As you can see, it's quite simple and it's very, very similar, well, almost identical to most other radios out there that operate on DMR that are coming out on the Chinese market. So I'm not going to go into too much detail on these in terms of programming and setup, but there's plenty of videos online. As for the programming software, this is available from the Radio Odyssey website. As I said, a link is in the description below, and this is identical to any other, well, virtually any other DMR CPS that's out there. You just download it from the website and trawl through. Again, I'm not going to go through detailed programming on these radios. DMR programming is quite complicated until you get your head around it. Once you've got your head around it, it's not too bad. If you sit down with a brew or a drink and get into the programming, and once you've done it, you simply upload the code plug to the radio itself. If you're struggling with this, don't let it put you off. There are people out there that share code plugs online. They may even have them for your area, so don't be disheartened by programming. It's just as complicated for any other DMR radio out there, but as I said, once you get your head around it, it's quite straightforward and you will get used to doing it. Okay, so all that's left to do now is put a couple of calls out on the local repeaters. It is quite late in the evening, so I'm not sure we'll get anybody back. If not, I'll find another way of testing this radio, and we'll see who we can actually get hold of.
Hi, 2 Echo 1, Romeo Sierra Bravo, Stoke Coral. Just on my way to my local amateur radio club on the Wirral. Coming through absolutely fantastic on the press and repeater. Operator, this end is Ray, Romeo Alpha Yankee. Greetings.
Yep, no worries, Ray. The call sign is M3HHY. The name's Lewis. I'm in the town of Stockport in Greater Manchester. I didn't quite catch your call sign, but okay, I'm going to the radio club. That sounds good. I wonder which club it is you're going to. Yeah, I'm just testing out a new model of DMR radio here now, so I've just put a code plug in and put a few calls out and see what we can get. So I'm going into GB7 Mike November here, also in Stockport. So yeah, seems a decent repeater. It's quite new. I've only just programmed it in. So yeah, if you just go again with your call sign, that'd be great. Back to you, M3HHY.
No problems, Lewis. M3HHY. 2 Echo 1, Romeo Sierra Bravo, Radio Sugar Baker, and the operator's name's Ray. And we're on the Wirral, potentially going to the Wirral Amateur Radio Society, the WARS, abbreviated, just outside the club, Lewis. But I'm only about 2 minutes outside the front door, but you're absolutely coming through fine, no problem. Fantastic audio. Are you the guy that does the YouTube gigs over?
I am, Ray, yeah. You don't fancy being in the video, do you? No worries if not.
No, Lewis, but I tell you what, I only watched it a couple of nights ago. I don't know which one it was, which gig you did, but I do follow you on YouTube. I haven't subscribed to you. I've got a few others that I follow as well. And I remember the one that you did when you built your shack in the back garden. I watched that right from the beginning. I hope it's the same guy over.
Yeah, that's the one, Ray. Yeah, it's Ringway, Manchester. See, I do the radio reviews, and I built the shed shack in the garden. Not in the shack now. I've retreated into the winter shack. Now the weather's getting a bit colder, so I'm back in the house in another shack, in sort of like a secondary shack. But yeah, it's good to speak to you. Obviously, you know, you can put a face to the name. But yeah, if you don't mind being in this one, I'll put the QSO into the video when I do the review for this radio.
Yeah, that'd be great, Lewis, no problem. It'd be something to show the better half as well. But yeah, nice to speak to you. And we claimed the fame at last, but yeah, fantastic. I love the tutorials and everything that you do on YouTube, mate. Crack on with everything that you do, it's fantastic. Especially with all the new gadgets that are coming out left, right and centre. I always try and keep up to date with what's happening in DMR. But I'm on QRZ, Lewis. I've been on the radio for 20 years, but well on the radio before we were licensed. And been into DMR for a couple of years now. I'm also on the Brandmeister network on the Worldwide 91. You probably hear me on that as well a couple of times, Lewis. But nice to meet you for the first time. Although I know who you are. But it's nice to speak to you. For a while, Lewis, and you have a great night. And I'll catch up with you. I look forward to the video on YouTube. And I'll be absolutely delighted to see that one. But I'll say good night, God bless, 73s, and I'll catch up with you later, Lewis, over.
Yeah, no worries, Ray. I won't hold you too long if you're waiting to go in the club. But yeah, cheers for the comments there. It's really nice. Yeah. Well, the video will be on 6 o'clock, around 6 o'clock tomorrow night. So stay tuned for that one. But yeah, you'll be in it. And cheers for consenting as well. But yeah, no worries. I'm sure I'll catch you on DMR another time. Like I say, I'm getting back into things now. Just set this radio up. It's a Baofeng DM-1701. It's quite a nice handset actually. So you're the first contact on it. But yeah, no worries, Ray. Enjoy the club. Hope you have a really good evening. Great to speak to you. I'll look you up on QRZ anyway and get in touch. Yeah, have a great evening. We'll catch you again. 7-3.
M3HHY 2E1 RSP so portable. 73s, Lewis. Radio sounds absolutely fantastic. And look forward to speaking to you again. God bless. 73s, mate.
Yeah, cheers, Ray. 7-3 for now. 2E1 RSB M3HHY, unless called, going clear. M3HHY, M3HHY, testing GB7MR echo test.
M3HHY, M3HHY, testing GB7MR echo test.
Okay guys, so I hope you enjoyed that video. Quite a nice radio, a really cracking release there from Baofeng. I'm definitely going to be playing around with this radio a little bit more and getting to grips with it. I think it's quite sturdy, quite strong. It's made from moulded plastic. And it feels quite rugged to the touch and in your hand, so I think it'll survive a little bit of abuse. It's not IP67 rated or anything like that, but it's as good as a lot of other DMR radios that I've got in the collection. So yeah, it's a really nice model. Stay tuned on the channel. We are going to be revisiting this radio a little bit further down the line. If you have any comments, suggestions or questions, then drop them in the box below and I'll get back to you. And all that's left to say is 7-3. Cheers.